I wish you could have known him. He was such an amazing, kid and human being.
Brandon Erlmeyer, 20 years old, handsome and funny, beloved by his family.
That's his little smile. He was just so happy. That's him as a baby in my lap. It's one of my favorites. Obviously, the picture's a little worn.
Becoming an adult can be difficult for anyone, but especially hard when you have a heroin addiction.
It was really hard when he relapsed.
Brandon had overcome addiction before, and his family was confident he'd beat it again.
I was so sure with everything in my entire soul that he would get better.
But then came a cold, icy night, one no loving family could forget, December 2nd, 2017.
I guess I used to worry more about him ODing.
Yeah, I never thought he would get murdered. Never.
My name's Nancy Furlow, and my Tlingit name is Satquan. His name is Brandon Christopher Erlmeyer. His Tlingit name was Yugu, and he was murdered on East 6th Avenue in Anchorage.
Brandon's teenage years were like many Alaskans. Happy, athletic, drawn to the mountains and beauty around him, most comfortable outside in the wilds of the last frontier.
He loved the outdoors. I mean, from the day we brought him home from the hospital, he was sliding down mountains and climbing through rivers and climbing trees and doing all kinds of stuff all the time.
He was raised by his grandmother, Nancy, and close to his cousins, as well as his uncle and aunt.
He was just really caring all the time. He used to have a really boogery nose when he was little, all the time, so I always called him my booger. And I called him, he was my booger till the day. He's still my booger.
By any measure, Brandon had a bright future. But then he tried heroin, and he was instantly hooked. He struggled with it for years. But even when struggling, he would text with his close-knit family, checking in, making sure they knew he was safe.
He was just a ray of sunshine all the time. He had these little eyes that when he'd smile, they just looked like life.
The night in question, the night of December 2nd, began with a knock on the door. Brandon's family says a friend asked Brandon for help, and the two left the home together. That was the last time anyone in the family saw Brandon alive.
So this is where
he was killed.
We believe that he was killed.
Even if they have no confirmation on the details.
No definitive word from the police. But our best guess, it was around here.
It's up there.
I can't remember where they dug it out. I think it was this area right here.
Yeah.
Where he was shot.
Nearly 3 years to have passed, and Anchorage police have not publicly released specifics in the case, citing an ongoing investigation. But on that cold December night, officers showed up at Brandon's grandmother's home asking to talk.
There were 2 police officers outside, and they insisted on coming in. They told me that he had been severely beaten, strangled, and then shot, and did not survive. And that his body was still at the crime scene.
Police did release this photo of 3 men, calling them people of interest in the shooting death that happened here on East 6th Avenue. At the time this picture was taken, all 3 are believed to be in their late teenage years or early 20s. 2 had backpacks, and 1 had an orange hat, police said.
Laughing. Like it was a fun Saturday night, I guess. And that's hard to take.
The family says police took a person in for questioning who they believed had witnessed Brandon's killing. He was later released.
He will not testify. He won't say what happened.
But he was there. He knows everything that happened. I couldn't imagine myself watching somebody die and then not saying anything.
Police won't discuss the case, whether there was a confirmed witness, but those who loved Brandon most are adamantly seeking justice and do not want this case to be forgotten.
I'm not naive enough to think that, doing this is gonna, the killer's gonna come out and just confess, or,
it's going to lead to anything directly, but just anything, any evidence, any testimony, any kind of information, I would hope that somebody would.
Brandon was one of 35 people murdered in 2017, a record number of homicides for Alaska's largest city. Brandon's name was also added to another growing list of Alaska Native men who have died violently in the 49th state.
Just wanted to have something to remember him by.
The family now spends precious time with Brandon here,
We just come and talk to him.
always leaving fresh flowers no matter the time of year.
We come every
Sunday,
with new
every single
flowers.
Sunday without fail.
There are cards and pictures across.
He was pretty amazing. I miss him a lot.
The family says police check in less often.
Carrie said that she felt because he had an addiction problem that police didn't spend as much time with his case. Do you feel that way?
I'm not sure if it's because of his addiction problem. I mean, I've wondered actually if it's because we're Alaska Native.
She still hasn't forgotten a comment she says an officer made to her in the days after Brandon's death.
The detective on his case, for example, in the first call to me, said to me, well, what do you expect is going to happen to a thug when he hangs around other thugs?
So many people make mistakes and so many people fall to drugs. That doesn't mean they're worth less than anybody else. Like, good gracious, if we were all judged on our mistakes, so many of us make mistakes. He had an entire life ahead of him.
20 years of fading photos, memories, and treasured text messages.
Him telling me that he's working on it and he knows. He's talked about how he knew because I was like, I love you tons. He said, I know you love me, and I'm trying. I just don't want you to worry. And then the very last one that I sent him, just, I love you, check in. He never saw before he died. So it just sits there, unread, forever.